Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Did you know I have a Patreon? You can go over there and support the channel. Now onto the stories. Case file number 889, written by It's Okay, It's Alright. I control the world with my mind. The other day, just an ordinary regular day, I was lying on my bed watching TV. I had to leave to run some errands and thought quickly to myself, I need to turn off the TV. I reached for the remote that was on the bed near me, and as my finger barely touched the bottom of the remote, the TV shut off. The power button is at the top of the remote and my finger was nowhere near it. I paused for a second, stared at the TV and grabbed the remote. I thought to myself, I haven't turned off the TV yet. It shouldn't be off, it should still be on. Just as this thought popped into my head, the TV quickly turned back on, but kind of glitched. The picture kind of froze a bit before fully going back to normal. I sat there, frozen in confusion. I blinked a few times and just stared at the TV. I then turned it off, but continued to sit there not knowing what just happened. I know how this sounds. Crazy. I want to also say that I wasn't on drugs, alcohol, or impaired in any way at all. I hadn't been asleep or anything out of the unusual. I also have never experienced anything like this before. I wasn't watching any movie or TV show recently with something like this, nor had I heard any similar stories. Literally, there is nothing that could have influenced me into hallucinating or imagining this happened. The one thing I will note is that I've always been prone to what's called street light interference, or SLI. It is when lights or electronics flicker or go off in your presence sometimes. It doesn't affect my life too much though. I haven't worn a wristwatch in like 15 years. I have random Wi-Fi issues, but it's more of an annoyance than anything. It's also not too often. However, for me, it's always affected things like batteries, clocks, computers, etc. It also has never happened while I was thinking about it, like turning off the TV. I know this sounds weird. I don't know if it was a glitch or what, but I felt like I should post it here to see if anyone has experienced something like this or can offer their thoughts. I actually made myself a note not to forget it, because I also had a feeling my brain would try to make sense of it and just justify it somehow as if it was normal. Sometimes we tend to do that when we can't comprehend what just happened, and I didn't want to forget just how strange this was, but I can't rationalize what happened. Has anyone experienced anything like this before? Case notes for file 889. I control the world with my mind. I have heard of this before, in a few stories actually. Streetlight interference, SLI. People's own EM spectrum is able to influence electronics, and electronics operate with electricity, which is part of the EM spectrum, so there's nothing too crazy about that. Of course, they can't mentally control it. Rewatching Stargate Atlantis, I realized all the ancient technology is controlled through their brains. We even have devices today where you can control them with your mind. They're trying to perfect this, so people who've lost limbs, they can have new arms attached, legs, and control them with their own minds. Just direct input. No mechanical process involved of like moving your arm a certain way to control your hand, which is weird. In this case, it only happened where you were touching the remote, so you had a direct physical contact with the remote, and through that, your brain could conduct the proper electrical signals in order to shut off the TV or turn it back on. Curious that the TV itself was glitching out after it turned back on though. I wonder what's up with that. Maybe as you control this power, even subconsciously, it has to increase your EM field, and that's when things glitch out around you. A lot of sense to that. Very cool. I would actually try to consciously control this, because it's sort of a superpower in a way, right? You might be on your way to becoming Magneto. Case file number 890, written by Anonymous. The Universal Souvenir. About 2 years ago, 2020, my mother-in-law bought me a blue hoodie with stars on it. It's a little young for me, but it was nice for working out or tossing it on to walk to the mailbox. It developed a hole in the front pocket, so I couldn't put my phone in the pocket. No big deal because it wasn't my favorite hoodie or anything, so I hung it up in the closet. Last winter, 2021, I went to pull a random hoodie from the closet and I grabbed the star hoodie and came downstairs. I forget I grabbed it, run back upstairs to the closet and grabbed the star hoodie again. I got that sick, something isn't right feeling when I saw it. I now have two indistinguishable, crappy Blue Star hoodies. I can't tell the difference between the old one and the new one. The new one also has a hole in the front pocket. They both had strings originally, but one of the jackets lost a string in the wash recently. I have no idea where the copy came from. I wouldn't have purchased it since I didn't really like the original. My mother-in-law didn't give me a new one. I never told her I wanted or needed one after the pocket tore. I try not to think about the duplicating hoodie, but I wish it had copied one I actually liked. Case notes for file 890, the Universal Souvenir. So there's a small disconnect here where some items de-render and re-render, and that's it. Just seemingly at random. Sometimes they duplicate though, and that's the really weird part. What's causing the duplication? Is it an error of de-rendering within multiple parallel universes? So one is just re-rendering in this universe when it's supposed to be in the neighboring parallel universe, and in that one, the item is just gone forever, never reappearing because it's in this universe now. And it really is a copy of it because you mentioned there's a hole, so it's not like you accidentally bought two somehow, or someone else did. Unless they did and also carved a hole exactly where it was in the original. I mean, unless it's a prank, a very deliberate, weird prank. Not even a prank, really. I have no explanation for that besides duplicating object phenomena, which I think must come from another universe. There's too much energy imbound within any physical object. It's insane how much energy even a hoodie has. If you converted all the energy of all the atoms within a hoodie, I mean, you're talking about enough to wipe out an entire city, more. It's absolutely crazy. So that energy has to come from somewhere. And the only thing I can think of is another universe. Case file number 891. Written by Bonita248. My son vanished without a trace. Hello, I'm a married mother of 4. Last night, I'm pretty sure my 9-year-old son glitched. So last night, I went to take a shower and enjoy some peace for about a good 20 minutes. Of course, the kids came knocking anyway, and I made them go away. Meanwhile, their dad, let's just call him B for the sake of the story, was downstairs cooking while my 6-year-old daughter, Kay, and my son Jay were on their devices. Anyways, I get out of the shower and come downstairs. B says, "Where's Jay?" I said I didn't know. I was taking a shower. He must be upstairs with his other siblings. About 10 minutes pass and B calls Jay's name multiple times and gets no response. Then Kay, the 6-year-old, says Jay ran away. He went out the door. So I tell them to search the house because he's got to be around here somewhere. Meanwhile, I go search the neighborhood. Now just to be clear, the only unlocked door or window was the front door and it's loud when you open it. The back window was open, but I closed and locked it just in case the little guy decided to come through the window without getting caught. I searched the neighborhood, no Jay. Called around to a couple neighbors and they haven't seen him either. By this time, worry sets in because we're in Michigan. It's cold and dark out and he didn't have his coat. The police were called. They searched the neighborhood, the playground, and a nearby small wooded area to no avail. Now at this point, they're wondering just as we were if Jay was still in the house. We allow them to search the house. They searched every room, closet, basement, and cabinets twice. Nope. So now they're on the walkie-talkies calling for the K9 unit. My 8-year-old daughter was asked to show her dad and the police where his friends live so they can check there too. She went to the closet and said, matter-of-factly, "Found him." I'm like, huh? He was in the coat closet, a place that was searched twice by the officers and by us. I know my son is good at hiding, but how did we all not see him? The closet is small and there's not much in it. My thoughts were that he teleported. It's strange because before the police arrived, I was talking to my other kids saying that if Jay glitched and he disappeared and came back, well, there you go. After the cops left, I asked Jay how he ended up in the closet. How did you not hear us calling for you? He says he doesn't know. He said he was running away and somehow woke up in the closet. I'm so confused and my mind is blown, but I'm glad he's back. Case notes for file 891. My son vanished without a trace. By far the most bewildering aspect to this is that your son didn't remember anything from the point where he vanished to the point where he appeared in the closet. There's a memory gap. Was it an alien abduction? I don't think so. There was no obvious signs of that. Normally alien abductions, if there are other people around, they do notice something going on. Lights, Not usually much sound, but still, it wouldn't just happen randomly like that when there's a bunch of people around. So was this a case of him, your son, de-rendering completely and then just reappearing? You know, this could explain doppelgangers. Just occurred to me. If objects can duplicate, and that duplication is from another universe, a parallel universe, what if they de-render accidentally from that universe and reappear in this one? Doppelganger. Now in this case, it doesn't seem like there's any duplication, but it's just very strange that sometimes we can de-render, and it seems to happen to kids often. I wonder in those moments, was your son within that one of those worlds where everything is dead, no one is around? But like I assume, we're not supposed to remember that if we go there. If it's a transitory period where you're going to a new universe, maybe. But he reappeared in the original universe where you missed him, so I don't think it would be that case. And usually it would be the soul, not the whole body. Maybe it is the case where he went, it's just something that's my own theory that's wrong, I don't know. For one state or another, he does appear to have de-rendered completely. Or, the other possibility, and there appears to be a lot of possibilities on these de-renders, is that there was indeed a portal, a space-time portal. He simply stepped through it without realizing, and then just was ported forward in time, not space. There you go. That would explain it, but where do these portals come from? How are they generated? And really, wormholes like this aren't supposed to be stable, and they're supposed to be so tiny an atom could barely fit through. These shouldn't be a product of the universe as far as we know. Something would have to be generating them. Seemingly at random. Why bother with some random kid from some normal house? I don't know which explanation is proper here, but there's a lot of them, which is cool. Keeps the mystery alive. You've reached the end of the video. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.